Need that extra push and support. Under this umbrella, you're able to achieve that, and the impact they...
And feeling compelled to act in a much more public way, which is what...
The only wrong thing to say is to say nothing.
Paris showed up for fireworks, cameras are popping, heels hitting marble, and the room just goes quiet. The smiles land, but the vibe, it dips. Why does a night built for applause feel like someone turned the volume down? Quick thing before we jump in. Hit subscribe, tap the bell, and smash. Like so you don't miss what's about to unfold. We're breaking down the tiny moment that flipped the mood and the way it played across feeds. Fast, clean, no fluff. Ready, let's roll. She steps in like the timing's been rehearsed.
Royal surprise at Paris Fashion Week. The Duchess of Sussex spotted sitting front row at the debut show for...
Flashes bloom, the pivot lands, chin steady. It looks sharp. The room, though, it holds. You feel it in that tiny pause after the shutters. The space doesn't rise to meet the moment. It evens out. Smiles park where they are. Eyes follow for a beat, then drift back to their chats like, okay, noted. From 10 feet away, the whole thing plays like a perfect reel. Angles catching light. Fabric doing exactly what it's supposed to. Footsteps unhurried, but sure. Up close, it's more measured. People give lanes. You see nods, not rushes. A hello that stops at hello.
The reasoning.
Now, I don't know if I can get 3 in a row in terms of people you want to stick around, right?
The soundtrack is conversation, not a ripple or a gasp. It's courteous. It's poised. It's not buzzy. Listen to the room's rhythm. It's that steady tap-tap of a snare, not a drop. Everything technical is dialed, shoulders set, pacing smooth, the turn hitting its mark, but the spark stays in the pocket. Faces do quick math without breaking expression. The look, the seat, who's nearby, what this might signal. It's not cold, it's careful, like everyone agreed to keep things on a low simmer. Watch the micro moves. Fingers stay wrapped around clutches and programs.
She's in Paris. She's actually maybe doesn't realize she's approaching the tunnel where Diana died. And then she shows herself putting...
Phones come up for a second, then tuck away. Shoulders angle just enough to acknowledge without inviting more. Laughter stays small and local instead of rolling across the room. Even the floor seems to keep the sound tighter, like it doesn't want to echo the moment too loudly. The walkway turns into clean geometry. Open space appears. She glides. It closes again as if on a timer. A pause at the edge of a group, a half smile that lands and stops there, a glance that says, I see you, without the follow-up step. It's composed in a way cameras love. It's restrained in a way crowds don't rush to fill.
This is when we first see her, I believe, in the night. I want you to look at this walk and tell me what your vibe...
Think about that feeling when a chorus hits right on time and the crowd appreciates it but doesn't jump. That's what this is. Nothing's off, nothing's chaotic. It's simply a room choosing to be precise, which is why the split is so clear. Glossy on top, caution underneath. You catch it once and then you see it everywhere. The spacing, the posture, the volume that never quite goes up a notch. That's the story this entrance tells. Polished, totally controlled, absolutely. Electric, not yet. And that not yet becomes the read of the night. It's a moment that photographs beautifully and still leaves you wondering why the temperature never climbed.
There is a new storm brewing around Meghan Markle, the wife of Prince Harry. All has started with an Instagram post.
Maybe the space is reserving judgment. Maybe it's just holding its pace. Either way, the message lands. Presentation delivered, pulse contained. Flashes keep firing like the night owes somebody a photo dump. Frames look premium, angles dialed, posture steady, fabric catching light at all the right spots. But the human part runs on a different clock. You see it in the spaces that stay open. The lens leans in, the room holds back. People look, nod, and drift right back to their conversations like the moment's been acknowledged and filed. Watch the floor traffic. Photographers crab walk to find a fresh line.
I look at Meghan Markle and these videos and pictures from Paris. She seems kind of drugged out. She seems kind of faded.
A couple of VIPs glance over, then pivot to their own circles. A stylist starts a wave that becomes a micro gesture, half raised, half shelved. A publicist checks a phone, pockets it, then anchors in place like, we're staying put. None of it's hostile. It's tidy, measured, almost like invisible tape is marking lanes nobody wants to cross. What the camera captures is immaculate. What the room broadcasts is not yet. People appraise the look with that polite half smile that says noted, without adding an exclamation point. Greetings stop at nod range.
Paris was supposed to be Meghan Markle's grand fashion comeback. Her first appearance at Paris Fashion Week, sitting front row at Balenciaga.
Compliments arrive from a safe distance. 2 steps away, voice low, hands full so they don't accidentally turn into hugs. It's social choreography, not a reception line. Listen to the soundscape. Heels click, but not fast. Laughter pops, then fades inside the same small cluster. Shutters tick like metronomes. No cheer, no rush, just controlled movement. Even the body language keeps itself neat. Shoulders angled to observe without inviting. Feet planted, torsos that turn only halfway before they return to center.
In an industry built on proximity, Meghan had become untouchable. Not because of scandal in the tabloids, but because of something more basic.
The pattern repeats in small ways that add up. Lanes open to let the shot happen, then close on cue. A pair of seats remain empty just long enough to avoid overlap. Eye contact lands and releases before anyone steps in. The effect is subtle and unmistakable. There's a tension on the surface, but the warmth is on hold. What stands out isn't a single reaction, it's the ratio. High volume of clicks, low volume of connection. The moment photographs beautifully, yet the crowd refuses to overplay it.
Okay, picture this. Meghan Markle strutting out of Paris hotel like she's just won America's next top duchess.
The message is simple and very clean. The picture is welcome, the pile-on isn't. 2 pictures, same week, totally different flavors. One is pure front row gleam, tailored lines, camera-ready angles, a seat that says, yes, this was planned. The other leans service first, calm tone, careful messaging, the kind of moment that wants steadiness more than sparkle. Each works on its own. Side by side, the blend gets complicated. Fashion loves a big entrance. Advocacy loves a clear lane.
A leading expert in behavior and body language, Scott serves as a trusted advisor to law enforcement, the military, top-tier.
When you stack them close together, the room starts doing quiet math. Not charts, just gut checks. Does the shine soften the message or set it up? Is this a smooth baton pass or 2 tracks playing over each other? People won't say it out loud, but you can see the questions in how they react. Curious, cautious, waiting to see which mood leads. Sequence matters more than folks admit. If the show-stopping shot comes first, anything serious that follows has to recalibrate the atmosphere.
I wanted to punch myself in the face when I saw this video because she's doing this like slow motion model.
The tone can't just pivot, it has to settle. Think pacing, the pause before a line lands, the length of the eye contact, whether the smile is bright or measured. Tiny choices change the read. Front row asks for volume. Service asks for clarity. Putting them shoulder to shoulder means threading both without letting either swallow the other. Even the small stuff starts pulling weight. Posture that sells on a runway can feel too big in a quieter room.
Meghan Markle at Paris Fashion Week, our last look. Now, Meghan...
A camera-friendly turn that reads confident in one space can read performative in another. It's not right or wrong, it's context. The same look, same angle, same expression can land 2 different ways depending on who's watching and what they were primed to expect that day. There's also the rhythm of attention. Big, glossy moments spike the timeline fast. Steady, purpose-driven ones build differently. If the week opens loud, the follow-up needs elbow room. Fewer fireworks, more focus.
There's no consequences. So far, Meghan Markle's behavior has escalated. And now it's unraveling before the...
So the message isn't competing with leftover glow. That's why spacing, lighting, and even how long someone stays in frame actually matter. They tell people how to feel without a single word. What the crowd seems to want is coherence. Not a perfect script, just a sense that the visuals belong in the same story. When the arc feels aligned, viewers lean in. When it feels shuffled, they pause. You can feel the room checking for through lines, the stance, the pacing, the temperature of the smile. It's a quiet test. Pass it and the shine supports the point.
So picture this Paris Fashion Week. Flashing lights, velvet ropes, champagne flutes clinking in the hands of the elite.
Miss by a beat, and the shine steals a bit of oxygen. None of this arrives as a grand announcement. It shows up in micro signals. A seat chosen a little farther in, a wave kept close to the body, a glance that lands and exits clean. The message underneath is simple. Hold the look, keep the purpose clear. When those two sit comfortably together, the week reads like one idea instead of two competing playlists. A compact car clip slips onto a feed, window glow, streetlights sliding by, a soft reflection across the glass.
By talking about none other than the Duchess of Scamelot, Meghan Markle, okay? The disaster tourist is back with a
The camera drops to a pair of shoes for half a second, then floats back to the city. It's neat and quiet, the kind of snippet you scroll past until it loops and you realize you're still watching. The scale flips, inside moments felt staged and contained. Outside, the city does the staging on its own. Neon, concrete, shadow, no designer needed. The frame picks up a landmark that carries a lot in royal memory, and that's enough for people to look twice. No captions push a story. The location does the heavy lifting, even when nobody names it.
It was meant to be Meghan Markle's dazzling return to the spotlight. Paris, Balenciaga, and flashing camera.
Reactions split fast. Some see a late-night drive with pretty lights, end of a long day, nothing more. Others read intention in the angle and timing, like the route was chosen for effect. Nobody has to argue. The comments make their own map. You can almost hear two rooms forming, just a ride versus. That's a choice. Editors on phones get busy. One slows the clip to half speed and adds gentle music. Another stacks it with earlier shots from the night, turning the window into a mirror for the whole evening. A third crops everything.
And there are rumors that he is going to write his own book. Now
But the shoes, letting the reflection carry the mood. None of these versions say much. They don't need to. The atmosphere is the message. Look at the little tells inside the car. The posture is composed, not slouched. The lens doesn't shake. Whoever's filming understands steadiness. Even the way the camera returns to the glass feels deliberate, like the city is the co-star. That restraint reads as calm to some and curated to others. Same frames, two interpretations.
So picture this Paris Fashion Week. Flashing lights, velvet ropes, champagne flutes clinking in the hands of the elite.
Both persuasive in their own way. Sound matters even when you can't hear it. Viewers supply a soundtrack in their heads. Low engine, distant traffic, a faint rhythm that fits the glide of headlights on wet pavement. That imagined audio changes the feel. Suddenly the snippet isn't just visual, it's a tiny mood piece. Short videos that work like that tend to linger. Watch how fast the focus shifts online. The front row gleam turns into supporting material, while the car window becomes the main event.
Meghan Markle in Paris. Rather more desperate than Emily in Paris and nowhere near as entertaining.
Feeds love a small, replayable moment with built-in symbolism. And this one checks every box. Short, shiny, easy to remix. It doesn't present a thesis, it invites a read. And invitations travel farther than declarations. By the time the loop's on its fifth pass, the hierarchy of the night has rearranged itself. The outfit still looks sharp. The seat was still prime. But the image that sticks is the glass. City outside, reflection inside, a landmark humming in the background whether you say it out loud or not.
Well, I think you've got to get the Princess Pouch, don't you? You've got to work on that brilliant Ben Stiller movie and those glorious moments as they...
Open a glossy write-up and the night reads smooth. Sentences glide. Photo sets are curated, balanced, evenly lit. You get context, credits, a tidy arc from arrival to exit. It rewards patience. Scroll, read, nod. Now jump to the timeline. Whole different physics, clips under 15 seconds, captions built to sting, crops that trim everything except the one frame people can't stop replaying. Same evening, two versions. One polishes, one compresses.
Now let's have a look at Meghan Markle being weird and inauthentic.
Meghan Markle walked into Paris expecting thunder.
Long-form loves sequence: who, where, when, what they wore. Social loves velocity: loop length, first 3 words, whether the opening second hooks you. One treats the moment like an exhibit, the other treats it like a spark. Watch the incentives. Articles aim for coherence, you should leave oriented. Feeds aim for momentum, keep you moving, tapping, debating. That's why a steady paragraph can register as fine online, while a tiny clip pulls a crowd. Different goals, different wins. There's a language split, too.
And for an industry that survives on perception, that kind of noise becomes a liability. Now, here's where it gets...
Copy uses full sentences, steady verbs, measured adjectives. Captions strip it down. One angle, one line, maybe an emoji for emphasis. In that format, subtlety gets traded for speed. You don't explain a mood. You imply it and let the comments finish the thought. Edits shape memory. A crop that cuts the room out changes how you read the face. Freeze a half smile and it suggests a story the live moment never announced. Slow something by 25% and it stops feeling like a pass-by and starts looking intentional.
Now let's have a look at Meghan Markle being weird and inauthentic.
Meghan Markle walked into Paris expecting thunder.
It isn't lying, it's framing. Framing is powerful. Then there's the thumbnail economy. A still that works at 2 inches tall wins, whether or not it was the most telling second in real life. Bold type, clean silhouette, high contrast. Suddenly, that's the night, even if it was only a blink. The more shareable the square, the bigger the footprint. Algorithms add their own taste. Platform logic favors clips that re-engage quickly, rewatches, comments, duets, stitches. If a video loops neatly and invites a reaction, it gets pushed.
This is not a mastermind. This is a fool. Imagine that we give her a pass on the Diana video.
If it requires context, it risks stalling. So a compact moment with a clear visual beat outruns any paragraph that asks you to slow down. Attention has a half-life. Long form builds steadily across hours. The timeline spikes in minutes, then mutates. A remix lands, then a caption joke lands on top of that, then a side-by-side reframes both. By the time the write-up finishes its arc, the feed has already produced 3 new versions that feel fresher simply because they're newer. Authority reads differently too.
This is Meghan Markle's sickest stunt yet. This weekend, she decided to invoke the memory of dead Princess Diana in...
A masthead signals editorial weight. People settle in and give it time. A creator profile signals personality. People show up for a take. Neither is guaranteed to stick. The first frame decides more than either brand. A crisp opening second on social beats, a slow wind-up every time. Corrections move at different speeds. An article can update quietly and stabilize the read. A timeline rarely retracts. It overwrites. New clips don't argue with the old, they replace them. That's why the first visual to land well can set the tone.
Have you noticed the change in Meghan Markle's expression after being ignored at Paris Fashion Week? No one expected that a single subconscious move would make her look like a...
For everything that follows, even if a calmer take shows up later. Put it together and the split is simple. Polished coverage stabilizes a story. The feed redistributes it. Neither is truer, but they don't weigh moments the same way. One asks, how does this fit? The other asks, will this travel? On nights like this, travel usually wins. New city, fresh lighting, different pace. The setup trades spectacle for steadiness. Less flash, more focus. You can feel the room shift from look at this to listen to this.
So picture this Paris Fashion Week. Flashing lights, velvet ropes, champagne flutes clinking in the hands of the...
The posture softens a notch, the smile reads measured, and the camera sits still a beat longer than it did in the front row. Same person, new setting, and the temperature changes without anyone announcing it. This stage wants clarity. The visuals dial down so the message can breathe. Angles are simpler, frames hold longer, and the tone swaps runway rhythm for speaker rhythm. You see straight lines. Step up, make the point, step down. No spin, no clutter.
And in an industry that thrives on momentum, even a pause can feel permanent. There's a saying in fashion, you're only as relevant as your last front.
It's the kind of environment where a clean sentence lands harder than a dramatic entrance. What plays best here is coherence. The week now reads like 2 pages from the same book instead of 2 different playlists. The shine from earlier doesn't disappear, it just sits in the background while the purpose stands up. That order matters. When the camera isn't chasing movement, attention sticks. People stop scanning for the next shot and start tracking the words. Small choices carry weight. Wardrobe pulls back, shapes you recognize, colors that don't shout.
Holy mackerel, folks. They really hate each other now, and they cannot hide it any.
Gestures are compact. The smile is warm enough to humanize, calm enough to keep the focus where it belongs. Even the walk-on and walk-off feel time to avoid overlap. Nothing jars, nothing competes. You get a clean path for the point to land. The audience behavior changes with the room. Phones come up less for wide sweeps and more for close frames that capture a line or a nod. Applause is tighter and more consistent. Side chatter drops. Instead of bursts of noise chasing a moment, you get a steady hum that respects the pace.
In the Balenciaga fashion show, she took her entire team. She took Daniel, the hair and makeup artist. She took Marcus Anderson. Now,
it isn't sleepy, it's intentional. This is where sequence pays off. After a high-gloss shot, a service-first moment can either feel like a correction or a continuation. Here it reads like a continuation because the pacing supports it. Fewer angles, clear framing, no rush to feed 1,000 thumbnails. The effect is quiet and strong at the same time, less stand back and marvel, more lean in and absorb. By the time the stage clears, the week has a shape.
Of her. Meghan made an reappearance at Paris Fashion Week, giddy over her first time back to the shows in over a decade.
The early image brought reach. This stop brings steadiness. The contrast isn't a clash, it's a balance. You leave with fewer fireworks and more clarity, which is exactly what this kind of room is built to deliver. So that's the read. A night built for shine that ended up defined by feel. The entrance looked flawless. The room stayed measured. Cameras did their job, connections lagged by design. Then a tiny car moment stole the spotlight and rewrote the order of highlights.
But you guys, the suit, the worst. Why would you ever accept an invitation to Balenciaga?
Later in the week, the stage flipped the mood. Less sparkle, more steady, and the story finally settled. Here's the takeaway. Reach is easy. Coherence is work. Big frames buy attention. Consistent pacing earns trust. When the images line up and the tone holds, the glow sticks. When they don't, a 5-second snippet takes the wheel. If you want more fast, no fluff breakdowns like this, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and drop a like. Tell me your take in the comments. What landed, what didn't, and what moment you think carried the week.